All right, here we go. This is my complete American Fusion due diligence packet, executive summary and vision. Strategic leadership, Brent Nelson, Chief Executive Officer, Dr. John E. Brandenburg, Chief Technology Officer, and Fabrice David, Independent Director. The Great Form Factor Shift. The transistor moment for energy. Why the wafer wins. Moore's law, direct conversion, ubiquitous form factor. The solid state master stroke. The smoking gun. Lab results. Proof of helium-4 ash, which is only a byproduct of a fusion reaction. Silicon fusion revolution. I'm calling this the NVIDIA of energy. Fusion on a wafer. Printing millions of fusion diodes onto silicon, scaling power like transistors. By printing millions of fusion diodes onto silicon wafers, American Fusion is scaling power like transistors. No turbines, no waste, just solid state generation for 50 years. Fabrice David, solid state fusion diodes are scaling up by swapping bulky metal powders for thin film silicon wafers. We can print thousands of microscopic junctions, stacking them layer by layer, just like manufacturing process for modern transistors to mass produce solid state fusion batteries. The science is settled. The audit is finishing. The intel inside for the next century is being printed today. Shock electrolysis, MHD direct export, infinite scale. This is the working prototype that will be on showcase in a active working lab in Italy next month, March, end of March at some time, I think March 24th to the 28th. That is a silicon wafer with our magical diodes on there. Fuel, the world's first commercially oriented working fusion energy device. Fuel deuterium in a palladium lattice. Mechanism solid state fusion Entman-Gordon effect. Output 15 to 20 microvolts per diode. Key, no moving parts, solid state reliability, can be buried in a mountain or launched into deep space. The energy chip, how it works. A revolutionary micropower technology created jointly by Fabrice David and John Brandenburg, established under, I'm guessing 75-25 development Fabrice has basically 30 years roughly of working on this and got help from John in the end, towards the later end of this development. The chip operates by facilitating nuclear reactions within a specialized condensed matter lattice. Energy generated within this atomic lattice is converted directly into electricity without thermal cycles, gas turbines, or moving parts. The AUPD-Si junction uses Entman-Gordon effect. When hydrogen deuterium enters the lattice, it creates a spontaneous electron kick, direct DC electricity, 0.7 volts from solid state. That means you get instant activation. The wafers activate instantly upon exposure to hydrogen. They're self-polarizing. No massive external power source is needed to start the reaction. The chip is a power source designed to last 50 years. Then we have the Texatron, which we'll get to later. One company, two monopolies, owning the energy spectrum from megawatts to microwatts. We have the grid scale monopoly. Once the Texatron is fully developed and done. And then we have the micropower monopoly solid state fusion, which is already done and will be showcased again next month. The engineering is done, the physics is done, the math is done. It's now just a manufacturing exercise, if you will. One company, two monopolies, owning the energy spectrum from megawatts to microwatts. Triple monopoly, American Fusion, the triple monopoly. We have the fusion generator, micropower, Entman effect, primary fuel deuterium, which is a byproduct of seawater. So there's plenty of that. Mechanism, direct conversion, scale, no heat, microwatts to 500 watt arrays, if not more. Application, I'm guessing right now, drones, satellites, and medical implants. Then we have the Kepler engine, which is really where they want to be, which is the end game here is fusion propulsion for, believe it or not, spacecraft, aircraft, and then the Texatron reactor. Obviously, the Kepler engine is still quite a ways off. Three markets, zero competition. These are possible TAMs for each category. Power on a wafer, scalable like transistors, limitless energy. Moore's law will apply to this. Shock electrolysis. The minor effect. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The trigger shock electrolysis. The power MHD direct conversion. Fusion on a wafer. Clean, safe, limitless energy. The math on the monopoly. 300 to 450 visible power cells per 300 mm wafer, millions of integrated diodes per plate, AU / PD vacuum will give us 100 watts. Instant constant DC power per wafer. The power of linearity. If one diode equals 1 microwatt, then 10 million diodes on a wafer equal 100 watts of constant direct DC power. Unlike traditional fusion, output scales 1 to 1 with the number of junctions printed. Here's the money. The Bergamo demo, March 24th to the 26th, aims to prove 100-watt stability live in a lab. The life device is the modular building block for the 100-megawatt power blocks coming late in 2026. I think I messed up there. That should be the 100 megawatt is obviously the Texatron. We went over this, the power of linearity. The data showing that power scales 1-to-1 with junction count, proving that if one diode makes a microwatt, a million junctions make a watt. The scaling race, lithium-ion batteries, annual improvement 7%. Kepler fusion diodes, 100x power increase over a decade. Solid state, scales like a CPU, 50-year projected life. Impact, unlimited power for unlocking new frontiers. At some point, they'll get to this. Automotive power, the fusion flip. Automotive power, the fusion flip, say goodbye to charging stations. $300 million diodes equals one car's lifetime power. Sounds crazy. A NVIDIA GPU has 80 billion transistors. They'll work on this. Eventually, hopefully they find a partner. But on paper, this works. And they have the prototype already done, not for automobile, but more or less for the prototype for the wafer, the initial proof of concept. The Fusion Megapack, unlimited grid power. Today we have the Fusion Megapack, unlimited grid power. Say goodbye to Tesla's storage. Say hello to forever energy. There's a comparison there. Tesla Megapack, 86,000 pounds, lifespan 10 to 15 years, 5 megawatt hour capacity, 10 to 15 year lifespan. Tomorrow, Kepler fusion array, 2,000 pounds approximately, 2 megawatts of continuous power, 50-year lifespan. 20 billion diodes equals 1 Tesla megapack. A single GPU has 80 billion transistors. Infinite endurance UAV. Just another cool idea for the application of the energy chip is what I'm calling it. Of course, everyone knows about AI's power crisis. Powering the future, Kepler's fuel sources. Mark V specs, the unit economics of power. So for a hearing aid, it would require 10 microwatts or 100 diodes and would be the size of a relay. A pacemaker, 10 microwatts, 1,000 diodes, size of a coin. Calculation is off there on the pacemaker, but GPS tracker, 100 microwatts, size of a matchbox, 1,000 microwatts. 1 watt relay needs 1,000 microwatts, and good for smartphone. Got a little messy there at the end. I don't know about that last one. Silicon fusion economy compute versus power monopoly. Market cap, this is after the share cancellation, is roughly 20 million today. The IP in my is obviously can't be really valued. It's pretty much priceless if everything works. The compute chip, which obviously NVIDIA has a monopoly on, and then the American Fusion energy chip. All patents are pending and or already given. So why is this thing at a $20 million market cap, not 20 billion? The information gap. The company hasn't even come out and really said a lot other than about the Texatron. I found a bunch of research on ResearchGate and synthesized it with my AI tools. And Fabrice David was kind enough to retweet my stuff, use my research that I came up with, letting me know that I was correct indirectly with my analysis of what they had come up with. And obviously it's still a OTC stock, which, you know, if this was a SPAC, and, you know, we've all seen the crappy SPAC PowerPoints, slideshows that have roughly 10 slides and half as much data, let alone a product or anything real. Forget about the presentation. This is obviously dramatically underpriced and underappreciated just because of the disconnect between the information on the company and the investor community. So here we have valuation and revenue roadmap for the Texatron. 10 units gets you 1 gigawatt of power, which gets you 505 million in revenue, or $9.08 a share with a respectable multiple. This 10 units is obviously a 100 megawatt units, and then that's at 6.25 per kilowatt hour, I want to say. Forgive me if I'm wrong on that, but the math is right here, given what the company has said. Here we have 238 patents, lock key categories, auto, grid, space, defense, $20 million market cap versus $1 trillion IP potential. Everyone should have some moonshot exposure in their portfolio, but the prototype and the energy chip is already proven and will be on display in March. So there's not any risk on the energy chip side, I don't think. There's obviously still a risk on the Texatron side. That's how I feel about the situation here. It's also, yes, the first fusion device that is actually that actually works. So this is my understanding of why they did a reverse merger into an OTC shell. Not even a good OTC shell. God knows why they couldn't find a better shell, but here we are. No IPO tax. It's not even a clean shell. They're still having to go to court to get some things cleaned up as far as illegally created shares. But the guy's already, we all know the Costello thing where he's already admitted fraud. But why the company couldn't get a clean shell is the only bad thing I can say about this situation. Everything is on USPTO as far as patents. That conference in March is where only the best and brightest in the world go. That's the legitimacy. So that's why I'm putting forth the effort in putting together this presentation. The share cancellation obviously will come. Deliberate. So let's see. Nuclear energy landscape, Oklo at $10 billion market cap also needs billions of dollars more. I put down 1.2 billion. NuScale at 4 billion roughly market cap needs another 4 billion or 3 billion. Nano Nuclear, which is basically a joke, has multiple short reports against it and will never have a product. And then there's us, American Fusion. We have the first working fusion device. The energy chip is what I call it. And we're at like a $20 million market cap. They've probably spent more on IP lawyers than the market cap. So in March, they're also presenting an abstract on the Kepler engine, industrial aerospace, subcritical hybrid reactor, mechanism, inverse decay, neutron propulsion, deep space travel, lunar bases. What more can we say about these guys? They're outside of the box, but they make things work. Don't know what the timeline is on the Kepler propulsion stuff for flight, but Brandenburg has also already created the MET thruster, which is used by Momentus for pretty much all of their products that they put out in space, their space tugboat thing. The first known fusion device that works, again, can't be understated. People have been trying a million different things for the last 30 years, trying to get something to work, whether that be hot fusion or cold fusion. So there's a lot of value just in that. Why the world doesn't know yet. 4 barriers between Fabrice and the front page of the Wall Street Journal. The 1989 trauma, editors were burned by cold fusion. They need a 100% airtight case before they risk their reputation again. Scale matters. Microwatts are a lab fluke. 100 watts on silicon wafer is an industrial revolution. You better believe it. The world needs to see wattage, not millivolts. The theoretical bridge. The 2025 Kazursky-Vallée paper in Physical Review X finally gave the world permission to believe. Now they just need to the hardware match the math. This X paper by Kazursky and Vallée, those guys will also be there in March 24th to 26th. They will be able to see Fabrice David's prototype and give their critical opinion on it. So it will be peer reviewed in an open auditorium or lab setting. So we should see nice press releases. The 2026 Bergamo demo is not just for scientists, it's a press kit for the world. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of attention there. American Fusion, the world's only working fusion device. I'm going to keep saying this because it's crazy, but true. Every fusion company on Earth, Commonwealth Fusion, Helion, TAE, ITER, NIF, Tokamak Energy, is valued on promises and prototypes. American Fusion has a working device producing real electrical output. This is a category that has never existed before in the history of fusion energy. So there you see we have some valuations, and you can see something that they all have in common: no device. We have a working device. So 31 billion has been in combined funding across top fusion companies, 0 working devices. American Fusion is the only company on Earth with a working fusion device producing real electrical output. So the average peer valuation is 340 times of what American Fusion is currently worth. Rarity premium framework. First mover premium, 3 to 5x. IP exclusivity, 2 to 4x. Revenue monopoly premium, 2 to 3x. Category creation premium, 3 to 6x. These are my calculations. Base value on this company is worth 4.75 billion, 3 to 5x most and only working device. Or actually, sorry, yeah, that's the base value. That's 4.75 base value, and then you times it by 3 to 5 because it's the only working device. So after March, forget about it. 14 billion to 24 billion. I would assume they get a fab partner and major money behind this after March. So you have roughly a month to load. Complete valuation scenarios. Here we go, the Bergamo catalyst. March 24th to 26th, location Bergamo, Italy. Q is greater than 1 on a chip. There is no power inputted, only a fusion reaction with what is there. Deuterium, palladium, and gold, if I'm not mistaken. And then the hydrogen gas is exposing these things. They input the hydrogen gas, and then you get the reaction. What to expect at Bergamo: 300 millimeter silicon wafer prototype containing thousands of integrated fusion junctions. Linearity milestone, data showing power scale 1:1 with junction count. The Majorne trigger, demonstration of shock electrolysis to modulate power output. What's generally strong, other than having the first working fusion device? It's under the cold fusion category, also known as, this is also known as LENR, low electric nuclear reaction. There's real granted patents across legitimate institutions spanning over 25 years, 238 application IP pipeline with coherent moat strategy, peer-reviewed publication in IEEE, AIAA, nuclear fusion, APS journals, 9 prototype iterations, real hardware, real iteration. That's the Texatron. Thousands of proof of concept principle plasma experiments. That's also the Texatron. APS division of plasma physics conference presentation. That is also the Texatron. That's being led by John Brandenburg, who people can't say enough about. 50 years of experience. His uncle worked on the Manhattan Project. So it's in this guy's blood to be doing what he's doing. Post a Bergamo pilot manufacturing phase. Following the public demonstration, Kepler Fusion Technologies will initiate pilot manufacturing in April and May. That's my guesstimate. The company will transition validated design parameters to independent US semiconductor partners to begin precision photolithographic printing of integrated fusion circuits. This process will utilize advanced thin film deposition to create millions of nanoscale junctions on a single 12-inch silicon wafer, marking the first move into full rate mass production of direct conversion power blocks. Key investment takeaways: only working device, 238 patents, 3 monopolies, Bergamo catalyst. On to the Texatron. We have our filed patents, 100 megawatt reactor, long sought after device tried by a lot of different companies. Rumors of Skunkworks having one of these from back in the day, stuck in a black box somewhere. To my understanding, John worked in private defense. Skunkworks is Lockheed Martin. I don't know if he worked there, but this is awfully similar to what is said to have been accomplished there. They just keep it in a black box. And then we have the Pais, Salvador Pais, who has a patented modular aneutronic reactor that is patented by the Navy, which they also keep in a black box, but he still talks publicly. Core technology and architecture: fast pulse torsion, one chamber does it all, rifled toroidal pinch, single chamber simplicity, MHD shock and rifle toroidal pinch. High beta efficiencies and aneutronic fuel. This is basically a 500,000 X confinement gain. 10 keV plasma temperature on that would be the temperature on a working unit with a fusion reaction, and 90% conversion efficiency is the highest I've seen advertised by anyone. DHE3 aneutronic fuel, also known as moon dust, but they found a bunch of this in Minnesota. So there is apparently plenty of this now, which is weird that this news just comes out right after these guys say they're going to be needing it for this device. Direct energy conversion, no steam cycles, straight direct energy conversion. Texatron fusion device and RTP results. MHD shock implosion forms dense toroidal plasma. Plasma relaxes to equilibrium with flux invariance. DH3 plasma ignites to fusion conditions. Electric power extracted directly from fusion burn. Chamber cleared. New cycle begins. Millions of pulses a second. These are all images shared by Dr. John Brandenburg on Twitter, X. The 500,000 X confinement debate, mainstream labs versus commercial middle path. Overcoming MIT's engineering walls. If anyone can figure it out, it's John, is what I believe. Brandenburg's philosophy: you don't fight the engineering walls, you move so fast and use such clean fuel that the walls never have time never have a chance to fail. According to the 2026 technical white paper and recent patent filings, the Texatron overcomes these hurdles through a combination of aneutronic chemistry, self-canceling magnetic forces, and advanced material science. Grid synchronization and power delivery, bridging terawatt fusion pulses to standard 60 Hz grid power, capacity bank buffer, phase lock loops, 377 Hz harmonic resonance. Patent filing number there for the foil patents. Fusion race, simple versus complex. Competitors. Why the Texatron wins power density plus magnetic mirror heritage. Both the Texatron and historical magnet fusion share advanced magnetic configurations for plasma, direct energy conversion, or charged products, compact scalable reactors with superconducting magnets, and tokamak topologies that reduce instabilities. Magnetic mirror fusion was deliberately discontinued amid 1980s policy shifts. The Texatron reopens this efficient direct conversion path. Dr. Brandenburg's NASA CMTX data reveals the hidden edge. The rifle toroidal pinch suppresses instabilities by design, allowing much higher energy density per cubic inch than any FRC. Hardware is real. The 50 megawatt prototype is set for, rumor was Q1, Q2 2026. They are raising funds for a demonstration unit. I don't know if, it might be late 2026, late Q2 2026. They're looking obviously to go public at the end of 2026 with the uplisting to NASDAQ and or to the Texas Exchange. The gem theory. Really cool stuff to research and try to understand. We can all just try to understand this stuff. It's really above all of our heads. I use AI and spent a lot of time, but it's not like any of us are actually nuclear scientists. So, I think that's another obstacle as well with investing in this company, other than, just the administrative stuff like the share cancellation and, Texatron corporate strategy and timeline, public uplisting, Kepler Fusion Technologies merging with RNWF to become American Fusion, redomiciling to Texas. That's complete. The audit is supposed to be done in February. I guess that's going to be done in the next week or so. And then the uplisting, IP Fortress, 238 patents, power as a service. Brent Nelson in the latest video has told us that he is going to be basically hiring a chief revenue officer to bring in these agreements. And then Trump obviously just said last night or 2 nights ago that all AI companies that want to develop the AI factories, if you will be responsible for bringing in their own power. So that's huge for a company like American Fusion, obviously. Integrated research. Fabrice David, Kepler Aerospace, and Brandenburg pursue dual path Texatron for grid scale magneto inertial fusion and solid state fusion diodes for LENR micro power, not a pivot, a scale up of decades of research. So version 9 testing, version 10 alpha, and then we're hoping for that prototype in Q2 2026. We'll see what happens, and then we're promised a 100 megawatt unit by the end of 2026. Really, I think no one believes a lot of what they're saying just because of the one mistake they made by reversing into, excuse my French, a shitty OTC shell. They could have found a clean one. I don't know why they didn't, but everything after that is legit. Not that it's not legit, but there's that, overhead of the shares that need to be canceled. Also, my understanding or belief is that they just were super black box with this. That's why they didn't do the IPO. Um, they're keeping everything closely guarded. Until they just filed all these patent applications. And also, they know they have the goods, so they don't want to give up any um, part of the company, is my belief. If you look at the charts, it looks like ridiculous amount of buying. The insiders have all bought up the whole float, have total control of the stock. There's obviously been a market maker working on this at one point sub 2 cent stock, basically shaking everyone out and accumulating pretty hard. A lot of dark pool floats, shares. That doesn't happen on a 2 cent stock. That's done with, you know, planning and a thought of obviously gathering as many shares as possible. So they have their strategy on controlling their company. More power to them. We can wait. So the Texatron thesis: design is final, physics frozen, scale set, patents filed, uh, aneutronic fuel, no radioactive waste, no shielding, direct energy conversion at 90% efficiency, no turbines, 500,000 time confinement validated by mainstream labs, microsecond pulsing sidesteps all stability concerns, 238 patents, impenetrable IP mode, 50 megawatt net gain demo. Again, not sure if that is the correct timeline, but I put it in there. We are promised, still, even in the second video, Brett Nelson did not say we're not doing the 100 megawatt grid tied pilot when asked about it. So one would have to assume that that's still on. Here's all my references. It's all on ResearchGate. Read it and then run it through your AI, because again, none of us are nuclear scientists. We can only try to understand this. The AI obviously understands it. Tell it to explain it like Homer Simpson would talk. This is, the research synthesis. This presentation uses Google Gemini AI to cross-reference 2025, 2026 publications. Really more than that. 2005 to 2026 technical publications. So 21 years of publications from Dr. Brandenburg with material science breakthroughs of David Fabrice, and then all of their ResearchGate stuff I also used, and then I also cross-reference patents. So there's a lot to digest. This video alone is like 45 minutes. So you can only imagine how many hours I spent gathering all this information over the last couple months. That is defensible scalable IP portfolio, core patents, IP pipeline, trade secret program. 2026 IP milestone, the Bergamo conference, again, Fabrice David, independent director and lead scientist. Expected deliverables: 300 millimeter silicon wafer prototype, linearity milestone, 1-to-1 power scaling proof, Monger, trigger demonstration, live wattage output, co-observation with Konrad Krzyzewski. He's the big dog, if you will, at this conference. His publication last year regarding this, if I'm not mistaken, deuterium to deuterium chain reaction is the basis of Fabrice's observations on what he is seeing, and that's peer reviewed. He will again be there, so it's all legit. Can't question it. Best scientist, physicist in the world. Yeah, so that is why I've got my money here. And then here's my important disclosure. Disclaimer, not financial advice. This presentation is for information and educational purposes only. It does not constitute financial advice, an offer to sell, or a solicitation of an offer to buy any securities. All information is based on publicly available data and company release material. Claims regarding technology, capabilities, patents, revenue projections, and market potential are sourced from company American Fusion / Kepler Aerospace and have not been independently verified. Investing in early stage companies, particularly in deep tech and pre-revenue sectors, carries extreme risk, including potential total loss of investment. Past performance does not guarantee future results. Always consult a qualified advisor before making any investment decisions. Do your own due diligence. Yeah, that was a one-shot take on the video. Hopefully you like it. Let me know if you have any questions. If I messed up anywhere, let me know. If I didn't provide sound data or information, let me know. But this was all done in genuinely good, just trying to get good due diligence out there for the investor community. I feel that this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. We have a prototype already working. It just needs to prove it can scale in manufacturing. This depends on getting a partner to obviously do the manufacturing and then, gear up for manufacturing. But obviously this is a world first, world's first working fusion device, trading at 2 cents because it's in a shitty OTC shell. Not for long though. Best of luck, guys. Let me know. Thank you.